So, it's been a while since we did any videos for Cool Ghosts, and I think getting back into doing them has been kind of a struggle, professionally, but also personally.
Interesting. Let's explore these feelings.
I think I fixate too much on my success, you know? I mean, who is Quins? My name's Quentin. I mean, actually, my name's not even Quentin. My mum called me Egbert, but with a silent Y.
Yeah.
So my passport says Yegbert, which isn't even a real name. And I said to her, Mum, what do you do?
A little,
Hey guys, I'm Hitman. This is just one of the many cool murders that I do.
Boy, that's right. I travel the world, killing people, wearing people's hair.
I'm a cool hitman, baby.
Sometimes I wear gloves, but not these gloves. I can overflow taps in bathrooms whenever I want to. It's all just good times. Try it. Why don't you just try it?
My mum didn't think I would amount to anything. Now I'm a hitman, I could kill her. I mean, I probably won't, but...
So Hitman is a series about killing people, although really, it isn't. Yes, you get to pretend you're James Bond or Leon or any other of your favourite cool murderers, but at the end of the day, the most exciting thing about Hitman is what it does with story.
But I'm not talking about plot. Agent 47's story offers a welcome bit of flavour, but the narratives that make Hitman tingle and pop are the kind of short stories you can write on a postcard. Tiny, grim moments of pure misfortune, dark tales with lashings of irony.
Nothing makes you tense like thousands of people wanting to kill you.
Hitman's design is always strongest when the foundations aim to create black comedy, but that isn't to say that it always needs to be funny. You can poke at stuff and kill your targets in a multitude of ways, not all of which are amusing. But this freedom of both exploration and expression is an essential part of the game's world building, not in terms of aesthetics or the tone of the actual locations, but in terms of ensuring that the players feel like they're inhabiting a sort of version of Groundhog Day. Stealth games have a habit of nudging players towards trying to achieve perfection. Start again, that wasn't quite right. Start again, you forgot the thing. But Hitman doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to embrace imperfections, to playfully flounder, to experience each new mission in a curve that's very similar to the one we've all seen in the Bill Murray rodenty time loop classic. Initially, you'll just explore, test the limitations.
No. No patience allowed here.
Almost uniformly, this will result in highly amusing cock-ups. Familiarity then allows you to start knowingly playing with these systems, engaging in willfully stupid or destructive acts before finally you use your knowledge of this snow globe reality to waltz through a carefully planned sequence of events with an impeccably smooth, cool sense of mastery. And then maybe you kill yourself a few times because it's funny, and then one day you wake up and the curse is lifted, and I guess now you'll marry Andy McDowell. And actually, now I think about it, the end of this film feels weirdly manipulative. Anyway, Hitman is a game that uses a lot of traditional stealth mechanics, but gladly ditches most of the traditional challenges of the genre. There's almost no emphasis on memorizing patrol routes or timings, with an approach that's almost always reactive instead of passive. Guards largely move because of things that you do. Oh, player agency, I like it, I do. Now this extends to the way your targets behave too, with an emphasis on players breaking their loops. These loops work best when they are simple and tight, like hula hoops. The issue with the grand and complex loops that you see in games like Majora's Mask is that whilst conceptually they're ruddy-bloody exciting, they frequently create scenarios in which you're either waiting for the bus, realizing that you've just missed the bus, or wondering if you missed the bus. So Hitman's target loops of behaviors are weakest when they're wide, like What's-His Chops in the Paris mission and his multi-minute waddle around half the bloody building.
It's best when you have these tight little cycles that only deviate when you interfere with them. And then maybe during this new loop, there'll be another moment where you can interfere with that, shifting them off into a third loop, or maybe a fourth loop of behaviors. And the key thing about this is every time you do this, you're just providing yourself with new opportunities for you to drop the punchline.
Because Hitman, as a game, is a buffet of jokes, offering plate after plate of impeccably timed moments, but leaving the ultimate control in your hands. As a player, you choose the punchline that you think works best, and sometimes it's just slapstick, or a grim end for a character that doesn't deserve better. But when it pops to life, it does so because the setup for these jokes have all been fleshed out with details. Now, while you explore these missions and try silly things, you're doing so with the aim of improving, getting better at the game. But the crucial side effect here is absorbing the information that lets you fully appreciate Hitman's violent punchlines.
When Hitman is hot, it is hot because these missions feel like recurring comedy sketches where the punchline is always death. But every time you discover a new punchline, you're enriching your knowledge of these characters, which is retrospectively making you enjoy every time you've been through this level before and killed these people. Again and again, it's like you're becoming friends with these people, except you keep killing them.
Best example of this by a wide margin is Sapienza, a layered web of brilliant, silly, dark jokes. The seaside town and villa is so packed with richness, it's like a digital pudding, put it in your mouth. Hitman, when standard but still perfectly good, presents a world of wry mousetraps, with unfortunate but evil souls milling naively past an endless series of custard pies and wonky ladders. But with Sapienza, there's so much care in these moments. The custard pies have flavour and character, and you're not knocking over ladders, you're carefully kicking at the loose links in the relationships of the mission's targets, sticking your boot squarely into their rotten psyches. You've got a love triangle, you've got family trauma, you've got betrayals, you've got corporate espionage. It's all going on. And Sapienza also shines because it's just the right scale, a tiny town that allows for so much variety in such a small amount of space. Hitman mostly just uses the concept of affluence to get around this problem in less varied settings. Well, of course, there's a sauna and spa at the base of this private Japanese mountain hospital. I mean, of course.
But whilst this method functions, it never really shines. You know, you can have a big hotel that has some weird rooms in it, but if you're going to have unusual things going on in generic circumstances, then you need to explain why to players. And crucially, most of the heavy lifting of this is down to characters in the environment to go, oh, that's pretty weird room, this, isn't it? Yeah, that's because of this. It means that basically you're taking up a lot of narrative real estate just to explain the setting.
But Sapienza is the best because it largely doesn't need to explain itself. Here's a church, here's a morgue, here's a So this means that when you do have dialogue that helps the player determine what's going on, almost every ounce of that narrative focus can be squeezed into Sapienza's characters. The beautiful seaside town does almost all of the heavy lifting by itself, allowing for a non-linear work of simple but compelling fiction about paranoia, deception, and love. Also, it has inflatable crocodiles, and I like them. Finally, Hitman's jet black murder jokes are obviously framed as being whimsical and silly and fun, but it's impossible to ignore the harsh undertones of satire and contempt at times lurking just beneath the surface. A world in which the genuine evils of the corporate elite are not beyond reproach or consequence.
So they can drive their ridiculous urban SUVs and drink wine on a Thursday, on a Tuesday, whatever, and tell each other how they've made it. It's pathetic. I own a private jet. I made it. But tell you what.
A world in which the rich and powerful are frequently painted, at best, as total wankers. And in days like these, I think we might all need that. Please don't tell the police I said that.
I won't tell the police, Matthew.
Quinn!
Hi. I just thought that you had some good points, and I would love to contribute to this kind of...
There's not enough room.
There's plenty of room. It's roomy. So this is exactly why the new system of throwing stuff at people in the new Hitman is so good. This throw button is essentially an instant punchline. You can be holding something as innocuous as a brick or a can of soda, and if an NPC ever says or does anything where it would be hilarious if they fell over, away you go.
Who are you again?
Here's the thing though, Matt. I actually think you might have missed the most exciting element of Hitman, which is the same thing it's been since the original Hitman 17 years ago, when a much more innocent Agent 47 would sneak around scaring guards by touching them on the shoulder, and they were so excited they'd wave their arms around and pass out. The most exciting bit of Hitman has always been after you've completed the assassination, when you just have to walk out of the level. You don't have to walk, of course, you could run, but that would be like painstakingly peeling an orange for 20 minutes before inserting it down your gullet like a baseball. Just let me explain why this is so important and so clever. Each of Hitman's glittering facilities is a cliff face for you to scale. You bypass one level of security with a splash of poison and a stolen uniform, only to find yourself stuck circling another plane of existence. But you wield your guile like an ice pick and slide into another room and another, and finally, something magical happens when you kill your target. This is a transformative moment for the puzzle and you and 47. Now you have to get back out and you do the level backwards, a classic bit of sleight of hand from the designers, but because these levels are always designed to keep people out and not to keep people in, your reward after breaking your back trying to be James Bond is to actually become James Bond. Coolly walking out through security, not without difficulty or caution or tension, but without failure. And this feels incredible. After climbing this mountain, you get to ski back down it. Hitman's levels are million-dollar playgrounds, thematically and literally, but now you can stride across these playgrounds like a colossus or a dad. In addition to this moment transforming the puzzle and your persona, it changes the plot and the people. Matt was talking about specific choreography when he was saying that Hitman had potential for dark punchlines, but when you assassinate a target, the entire level becomes yet another dark punchline. You walk past bullish guards who have no idea that their client is dead. Staff who were so terrified of their employer now crowd around her corpse. A base full of deadly soldiers all run around impotently because one of them is dead. And what do? You take the gun that killed a billionaire and you throw it away in the bin. Or, dressed as janitorial staff, you drop your broom, pick up some keys, and leave in a sports car. This is a grim glory lap around this world where minutes ago you had to worry about every curious pair of eyes, and now you've crushed its brain. Most tellingly, it's only after you've killed someone and are essentially finished that Hitman's exquisite soundtrack finally rumbles to life like an orchestral storm cloud. The designers know what they're doing. They don't give you this amazing music during cutscenes or gunfights. They give it to you when you're piloting 6 feet of bald sociopath back out of the level. It's like how the writers of whodunits know the best bit isn't necessarily the puzzle of how someone died, which is just filler. The best bit of whodunits is in stretching out the protagonist's genius and letting the audience revel in it in that parlor scene. And Hitman's exit of the level is you reveling in your own genius in this whodunit, or a you-done-it, if you will.
You off? Quinns? Quinns, where you going? I was going to make you an egg.
There's not really anywhere for me to go. It's quite cold. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube because that makes a huge difference to us. And if you really like the kind of work we do, then hey, there's loads of stuff on coolghosts.net and a nice community. And you can give us money on coolghosts.net/Patreon, which is good because it helps us do more videos that, oh my God, it's really cold. Maybe Matt will let me back in.
Lovely. Hello there. Oh my.
What happened?
My bald hat came off.